Ron. Geez, Al Booty, you have to get underneath.
Today, Hillary, the false prophet. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because some people will stand before God even though they have never proclaimed to be a false prophet. They are undeclared, but will still stand before God on Judgment Day as false prophets. Excuse me. And you know how the Lord said that some will come before Him and say, "How is it that we rejected Thee?" And the Lord will say, "As you have done it unto the least of these, you have also done it unto me." And by the same principle, those that do the work of a false prophet will be held accountable to God for a false prophet. There will be a big angel come and grab a hold of Hillary's hand and take her over to this section that says false prophet. And she'll go, "Wait a minute, I'm no false prophet. Those words never uttered out of my mouth." And the angel will look at her and say, "Did you do this?" And she'll say, "Yeah, but what's that got to do with it?" And the angel will say, "Did you do that?" "Yes." "Did you do this over here and that over there? And did you do these things here?" And Hillary go, "I've done all those things, but I never associated them with any kind of prophecy or not even God." And the angel said, "As much as you have done this, the works of a false prophet, you will be judged as the works that you have done." Okay? And I want to say to people that are calling me a false prophet, all you communist liberals, the works that I do will stand for themselves. The end of my works and the effects that they have made will stand before God just and holy, out of the integrity of my heart. Not because I am wanting to stay honest or popular before the people, but because I want to please God on that day. Love never lets you cross that line that will harm another human being. If you can keep that one simple rule, you will never be tried as a false prophet. If you can just keep the first commandment or even the second commandment, you will never be tried on Judgment Day as a false prophet. Hillary has stepped over these lines numerous amount of times in her career, in her lifetime. One of the things that you have to do to be a leader of a country, or that you have to be a military commander, you have to realize that collateral damage is going to happen, and you have to accept that fact. You have to accept the fact that collateral damage is going to take place under your command. And this is Hillary's plan. Hillary's plan is to make all of the Christians the collateral damage of this country. If she is elected, the Christians, the good standard, the Constitution that is of Christian value, will be the collateral damage that she plans on sacrificing for the good of this nation. So she thinks. That's laughable to think of, but let me tell you something, it's not going to be so laughable when it starts coming to pass. I want to read to you something Jesus said. Matthew 7:15. Let's go down to the King James Version. Okay, to Matthew 7:15. Get out your King James Bible and dust off that dust from it, and turn over those pages, those crackling pages that hardly ever has been moved. And let's go down to about verse 13. Okay, and this is talking about the narrow gate. This is how You know, because love is a narrow gate. Love is a narrow pathway. That's what the Bible talks about. Straight is a gate that leadeth into life, and few be there that find it. Love is a straight path. Not too many people walk that way. I had a dream last night about how my family had rejected me, and how my mama had put me off, and how I've been cast as the black sheep of the family, and because of the values that I hold, and the strength that and the boldness that I speak out against evil things. You know, and even in my family, I hold nothing back as far as my family. Just, I can identify with Christ in that way. Jesus even made a point one time to his mother. He says, "What have I?" He says, "Woman, what have I to do with you?" And his mother, being a wise lady, wiser than my own mother, accepted his saying, and he told to the servants, "Do whatever he says to do." But my family wouldn't even do that much. And right at the very last of the dream that I had, my dad was walking out and leaving, and I knew that I would never be back. I was packing my clothes, I was getting ready to go, and I said, "Dad," and he was upset at me, and he was even threatening me with a knife. And my dad has done that before in real life. My dad has threatened me with a knife, had it out of his pocket and opened. Okay, so anyways, and so he had put the knife away, and he would come out of the house, and things had calmed down a little bit. And as he was going and I was getting ready to leave, I stopped him outside, and he's like, you know, surprised that I would even speak to him. And I says, "Dad," I said, "I just got to tell you this." I said, "I may never see you again." I says, "and I got to tell you this." I says, "I love you. I really care about you, Dad, and I love you." And this, see, this affection I had for Dad stopped me from any more further confrontation. Even though I knew my dad was wrong and held a knife on me, I chose not to confront him because of the harm that it would cause. No matter which one of us won that battle, there would be an irrevocable harm that would be caused that day. Now see, and this is what Hillary is guilty of. She is guilty of causing irrevocable harm to a nation and a country, to its people, to the families all across this nation. For the good of the people? Come on, give me a break. You're destroying lives. You're killing the way of life that has kept this country and caused a foundation. You're destroying the very families. The fiber of this country, you are burning like it is a flax to a torch. You give no regard to the affection of the people of this country, Hillary, and you know it. You're evil at heart. You have turned from that thing which you started out to create something good, and you have caused nothing but evil. You're just as the devil did in heaven. You have set out to the thing that you thought was going to be good, and you have destroyed everything around you, and you've come to the end of your days. Listen what the Lord had to say about this. Verse 13. Matthew 7:13. Okay. Enter ye in, excuse me, at the strait gate. For wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. Hillary's taking the wide path, you know. She is taking that wide path. And many be there that go in thereat. And many there be which go in thereat. Verse 14. Because strait is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few be there that find it. Our Constitution is a narrow way. It's a narrow way. You hold off those things which hurt other people, and you sacrifice your own feelings in order to do it. Listen, when a mother has a baby, she has to sacrifice her own feelings. Even in a case of rape, which will be an extreme example, she has to sacrifice her own feelings. There's a lot, no matter, even with a child that you who's the father of you love, there's a lot of sacrifice that goes into that. The same thing is with the way. That's why God done it. That's why He showed us this fashion that we have to sacrifice. In order to love, we have to sacrifice. You don't force your own agenda when it comes to loving somebody else. You don't force your own agenda when it comes to loving and helping somebody else. You give instead of receiving all the time. Some preachers have separated these next verses, but it's a part of everything Christ has said here. When He said, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way that leadeth to life, and few be there that find it. Listen to what He said, beware of false prophets. And right away, preachers think, oh, he's changed the subject. No, this is still the same subject. Because false prophets do just exactly what he has just mentioned. This is Hillary's case. She's doing this exact same thing. And you know what? Half the nation has decided to follow her in it. I talked to a man at work. He says, I don't care who they bring up there. If he's Democrat, I'm voting for him. Well, let's get out Charles Manson and put him on the ticket. He's not killed quite as many people as Hillary, so he should be a little more justified, you think? The only difference between him and Hillary is that Charles Manson didn't have the money to defend himself, didn't have the media on his side. And by the way, the media will be held the same as Hillary has been. They will be held. All those, every one of them, all the people that write up the stories, all the newscasters, all of the people, if you come in and you sweep the floor in that station where they do that false report, where they ignore the truth, where they allow a country to be captured by liberal communists, and you open not your mouth, but yet you help them and hold them up in any fashion. I don't care if you're getting paid for it or not. When you uphold them, listen, when Daniel went into Babylon, he was captured. And he went into that place, and he didn't hold to their standards. He wouldn't eat at their table. He was forced. He did not eat at their table, and he didn't partake of their ways. He knelt at that window 3 times every day toward Jerusalem, and he prayed. And when they threatened to kill him for it, he stayed at his moral value, where his heart was, which is what we'll be judged for. When you take part in it, you are guilty of it. I don't care what part you have. If you're a congressman, you're sitting on the seat, and you decide not to vote against that thing which you know is extremely evil, you will be held against it. God will hold you against it. All those, Judge Roberts sitting on that seat, you had a chance to take Obamacare out and to put this idiotic president where he belongs. And you chose to sit in silence. And even went the other way. So therefore, you will be held, they will take you over by the hand. The big angel will come and get you, take you over, set you right next to Hillary. You have chosen your place. Okay, now listen, this next part, right after it says, narrow is the way that leadeth to life, and few be there that find it. Beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing. Judge Roberts, you got sheep's clothing on, but you're evil on the inside as any wolf I've ever seen. But inwardly they are ravaging wolves. You shall know them by their fruits. Judge Roberts, they shall know you by your fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns and figs and thistles? The works that you do. You don't have to declare it with your mouth. The works that you do will declare who you are. Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Evil tree, evil fruit. Good tree, good fruit. Hillary, your fruits bear you out. Your fruits bear you out. All of your past is catching up with you. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. Wherefore by their fruits ye shall know them. Hillary's getting ready to be hewn down because of her fruits that she has bare. These emails, these are just evidence that has brought her to the place. It's God's timing. It's God's place. It's right for now, because she has chosen to sacrifice God's people as collateral damage. God is taking her out before the fact. She has laughed in the face of God, and God is not going to hold for it. Alrighty, thank you for joining me today. We'll see you again tomorrow. Another great message right here, Crossing the Middle Ministry. Prophecy today, man. This is prophecy today.